Okay, well, we waiting for our countdown from our audio guy here. You know, he got on his good Durr beats. DER. He don't have Dre beats. He got them joints from the liquor store.
Man, got him an Eddie
Durr
Bauer.
beats,
He done found that
DER.
joint in Burlington Coat Factory.
So we waiting on our countdown. And one. And we ready to go, y'all. Hey, welcome to another edition of the Men's Corner, brought to you by Men's Corner and streamed via Men's Corner on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. I am your co-host, Faheem, alongside with my main apple scrapper and host, Big Six. The Men's Corner is produced by BeeSting Media and powered by DJ Glam. Site location sponsored by Reality-Based Training Group, located at 8181 Professional Place, Hyattsville, Maryland. Call RBTG at 240-714-3813 for your armed and unarmed security training needs for DC and Maryland. And we're going to get right into this thing here. We have none other than today's special guest is Mr. Kenny Westray of We Are One. Welcome to the show, big fella.
I'm glad y'all having me, man. I'm glad to be here.
My man.
Yes,
And so
sir.
as we always do, I always pass this thing over to our host, the big fella over there, Big Six, man. Go ahead, man, and kick it off for us.
Yes, sir. We got, man, one of the pioneers from D.C., Washington, D.C., one of the originators of this thing called sports apparel in the Washington, D.C., the originator of it, one of Dunbar's greatest.
There
See,
we
a lot
go,
of
there
people
we
know
go.
that. He a Crimson Tide guy.
Where he in here with the black and red on.
Yeah, he do a lot of support in the community and all that. A lot of people don't know, man. I had to get him on though, man. Kenny do a lot, man, for people.
When I came on here, go ahead.
Yeah, Kenny do a lot, man, for people, and I don't think his story was ever told. And we're gonna dive into it, man. Well, when you get started with this thing called, cause I call him Mr. We Are One. So when you started this thing, man, called urban wear.
Well, I didn't start urban wear. I couldn't say. I said Ed Lurie and Tide Madden Shop style of urban wear.
Okay.
I wouldn't even say urban wear. I mean, at that time it was just the wear. It became urban because in the urban, urban neighborhood. That's what we came to the where this kind of stuff like that with Madness and then EU and doing the butt stuff and all that kind of stuff. So,
Okay.
but I wouldn't say I started We Are One clothing line and just the name concept in 1992, in the summer of 1992, and when I started, it was just I started it with actually two good friends of mine and was actually trying to portray Ed Lurie and Ty at the time.
Okay.
So that's what the We Are One first came about, and the name, everybody always asks me, where did you get the name from? So like the name, we had the name in high school. Had the name, our class year 1984 was We Are One in Dunbar.
Oh, okay.
So, at the time, guys asked me, what we gonna call this clothing line? And I was like, we was on, corner 9th and F Street in front of the Athlete Foot, where I was managing, Athlete Foot. And I kept on saying, man, we gonna call it, We Are One. And as a saying it, a guy was driving this convertible down the 9th Street playing the song We Are One. So I had
Frankie Beverly Mays.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had my man just do a logo, the first, logo at that time, and that's where it just blossomed from.
Okay.
Well, you ain't just blossom. You got 38 years in the game.
No, not 38. This should make 30.
This make 30. This said in 82.
No, 92.
92. Okay, 92.
92.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you pushing 30 years.
82. I was in 11th grade.
College. 11th grade.
Yes.
Yeah, get ready to go off to college.
Okay. 92. Okay,
Yeah.
let me get my math right. So,
Okay.
you 28 years in the game. That's a hell of a long time, man, to have the city backing you that long. Because, we some fickle people.
Oh, very fickle. So with DC being very fickle, I took my game to another level to go out of town. Because most people in DC do everything in town. What's going on in town.
Right.
Me, I actually had avenues and stuff like I would say, my God, well, Sam Cassell came in and took me to another level in 1993 when he got drafted to Houston. So I got a chance to get to Houston and get to different people, to meet different people, and that's been being blessed because it don't happen all the time. It's just time and being right. So at that time we did a lot of stuff in Houston and stuff we all won and all that kind of stuff and different time and over time it just grew. So from that point we were selling stuff in Houston, making more money in Houston. We were making more money at home because Houston won the championship 2 years in a row.
Yeah, they sure did.
You know what I'm saying? So you got Vernon Maxwell, Keem, Kenny Smith, and everybody wearing your stuff in Houston. Ooh. I was to go to the arena and sell like 1,000 T-shirts probably in about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
So you basically had NBA brand ambassadors who actually helped facilitate the growth of it in another demographic. And as they did their piece and just wearing it, did that have an impact on coming back to D.C. and the D.C. people saying, you know what, it's not just here, but he's actually going national with this thing, and we're going to get behind him a little more and really push it because we don't want people in Houston or another state to outdo us in terms of support of a person that's a homebody?
That's a good question because D.C. is rough.
Yeah. Because I was going to ask about the competitors, because I know that there were, back then you already mentioned Madness, and some of the people there, you had competitors. But there was also, I forgot the guy's name, I guess he was an Asian guy that was doing a lot of the embroidery work and stuff of that nature around there, because they had...
Well, you got shooters too, but
shooters
back then you had the guy Kim, I forgot, over there in Addison Mall.
Right, yeah.
And that's when I think Jahar and Moten called me to the table with the urban wear.
Okay.
And I wasn't, because I was already overseas making my own stuff. I wasn't, they was dependent on this guy here.
Right.
And so what he was doing, they wasn't designing, he would make them some stuff and say, look what I got. And they put their name on it. So they say, okay, we'll put my name on that. And then he was just doing that. And then as he seen all that stuff selling like that, he said, let me open my own shop and sell it for less.
Yeah.
So he would sell them this for this, but I'm selling the same thing for the same thing I'm selling you wholesale for.
Wow.
So why would you not buy the same thing at a wholesale price? So I like, just cut this guy off.
Cut him out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At that time, I had my own machine.
Yeah.
I did my own stuff.
Yeah, because there was a major push back then for an exodus of that guy. Get him up out of here. Nobody go to him anymore. Don't support him. Because at that time, he had a monopoly.
After he monopolized the city, you want to get him out of here.
Right.
But you help
build him. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You made him make them prices. You made him make them prices by giving him like everybody went to him.
Right.
I mean, I can know at one time everybody went to him. I never went to him.
Right.
Ever.
Okay.
Ever. Never for one shirt.
Yeah.
So, they called me back and I'm like, Mo was driving the hobo band and talking about well, you gotta stop going to the band.
Oh, that's right, because Hobo Shop they came.
No, they was sponsoring Mo with that red.
Yeah,
when
he was
right.
Yeah. Hobo was sponsoring Mo, but you was like driving. You trying to conquer this, but you driving. But the man is making everybody's stuff,
making all y'all pieces.
So but you live and learn from that kind of stuff. But I'm like I'm at this time when they was doing that, I was living in L.A. So I wasn't even a part. I was working with No Limit at the time. So.
Right, and I wanted to get into that because you mentioned the NBA experience and having those brand ambassadors. A lot of people don't know that you actually developed and built a partnership with Master P and the No Limit piece through, We Are One and things of that nature. How did that piece come about?
Once again, Sam Cassell introduced me to Master P.
Great guy. Sam, yeah.
So Master P came to D.C. for the first time. So and he heard, Sam was talking about me, and when he came, it's like, man, bring me some of your gear. So I came down to the hotel, bring him some, took him some of the gear and other kind of stuff, and just talked a little bit, and about a couple of weeks later, we he was in Houston, I was in Houston, we was in the gym. He was doing his clothing line, and I read a report that his clothing line was struggling.
Right.
So I just talked to him in the gym, and I think me, him, and Kirk Lee from Baltimore went into the lunchroom, and we started talking on the clothes. I said, let me help you out with your clothing line. Yeah. And he was like, what you gonna do? I was like, I could show you this. And so he liked the stuff I gave him already. Mm-hmm. So he said, okay, well, give me about a couple of weeks. I'm gonna call you.
Yeah, and that's crazy because look, you say you, Master P, and Kirk Lee.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about that is all three of y'all are ballers and can play the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people know Master P can flat out play.
Right.
So it was an easy the conversation was a little easy because. You got
we
ballers.
was in the gym. We met in the gym.
Like,
we met in the gym.
Okay.
So we all met in the gym. After the gym is a space in Houston called Westray, and it's right by my warehouse.
Okay.
Westray is one of the biggest communities. It's got the U.S. Opens and all that kind of stuff at Westray.
Okay.
So this lady loves Sam, so she do everything for Sam. So I'm permitted to be in there all over the place.
Right.
So, all the NBA athletes in the summertime practice there. This is where they work out at. This is where all the coaches, this is where I met, like Avery Johnson and, it's a funny story about Avery Johnson, Master people. All these stories, everybody's there in Houston. Now, 5 minutes down the street is my warehouse.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So we in here, and P coming in, and P has his entourage. So when P said, I said, man, let me, help you with your clothing line.
Right.
'Cause I seen it. It was.
What was it about? I mean, what was the context?
The whole clothing line was about the tank.
Oh yeah.
The No Limit tank.
Okay.
The No Limit soldier.
Okay.
So at that time, P wanted to be more like Puffy. Puffy was rolling with Sean John.
Right.
So they was competing. P was in the Forbes magazine with worth $500 million, and Puffy was worth $400 million.
Yeah.
He won, all this kind of stuff. So they was like visually competing. I know this, but
right.
he don't know I know this.
Right.
So I just went to him. I said, "Listen, man, you gotta take the tank off your clothes." I say, take the tank off your clothes. Nobody want. They want no limit. They don't. The record label and all that. Puffy don't got bad.
Right. He ain't got bad boys all on it.
Take the tank off your clothes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And no limit. So he's like, that what you want? I said, yeah, take the tank off. So, now I got with P in, I think it was September. He was actually doing, August, he was doing a movie with Nicolas Cage, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Right.
So we flew around to do the contract. We flew around about 3 days. I'm flying around with him to do the contract, like how we gonna split this. So eventually came out, we're gonna do a 50-50 deal. So I said, okay, So when we get, to the point, I say, take the tank off. He said, "That's what you want?" I said, "Yeah, I want to take the tank off because nobody want to deal with no tank on their clothes."
Yeah. Yeah. That.
Right. So from that point,
we can see that.
I flew to, he flew me. Say, I got, this office up here in Korea and all this. So I flew to Korea and all that kind of stuff. And right off the bat, it's like I went from 4 days I was in Korea. You know what I'm saying? So I remember the day before I left, he said, "Man, I know you're gonna have to work with me. So what you I'm gonna help you out with your company because I need you to work with me."
Right.
Now, this store on Florida Avenue at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So now at the time,
Big
Mike.
Kevin was one of them. Big Mike.
No, Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Mike.
Was like that Joe Budden.
Mike.
Yeah, he
This is what I
was
told
getting
him.
help.
I was like, Mike, you got to run the store. I've been planning to do big things. I said, I want to be rich by 35.
Yeah.
So I told Mike, so at the time when P came to me, I was like, I was banking at Trump was with Crestar on Rhode Island Avenue. That was my only bank, Crestar Bank on Rhode Island Avenue.
Yeah.
So at the time, I had about $3,000 in the bank. You know what I'm saying? So like shit like that. So
Yeah.
So no, but it was good. You know, $3,000 was good. 'Cause you
yeah,
can flip
yeah,
it. You know, you can
yeah,
flip it.
yeah.
You know, and you bounce check here and there, but you ain't give a fuck if you flipping it. As long as you cash your fucking check. So,
Right,
you know,
right.
So he asked me, you know, what's my bank account? So I gave him the account number and everything, and he called me and asked me with the wire. I had to give him the wire numbers because, you know, his room next to me.
Right.
So I'm going to give him everything. There you go. So he say, all right, I'm gonna put a couple dollars in your account for you can stay back and work with me, and that way you get somebody to work, boom, boom, whatever the conversation was and shit.
Right.
So I said, okay, and he said, I'm finna doing this movement with Nicolas Cage. Are you good? He said, yeah. He said, all right, you gonna fly back to Houston? I said, I'm gonna fly back to Houston. So I go on the plane and shit, and he told me, so okay, got my shit. So when I went to Houston, my man Black picked me up from the airport. I said, man, stop by the ATM and shit.
Most machine.
So, yeah.
Stop by the ATM most machine.
So, when I punched that motherfucker in, I kept looking at the receipt. I
You couldn't believe
so
it.
I kept looking at him. I said, Black man, read this shit, man. You sure this shit right, man?
Yeah.
Well, he had put $100,000 in my account.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like that day, like a day later, he was flying me all in. Say, man, this is our private airline. You can fly anywhere you want to fly. You can get any room you want to get, everything you want to get. You can get everything you get.
Wow.
I need you to go here. And so, I think in December of that year, I finished the little shit we had, and shit we went to J.C. Penney's and did a $900,000 deal. I said that was the first deal. And he was coming from doing like $40,000 and shit. Like I said, it's a $900,000 deal. One deal.
Jeez.
And so he was, man, him was, but the whole time, he always respected me from just being me. I never, like, oh, no, Pete. No, a lot of niggas like, yeah, Pete, you right. I was like, no. Even when he would dress, because at the time, he was trying out for, I think, Toronto? One of them Jones he was trying to, like, we was going to suits, and he was like, man, them slacks big as shit. So I would tell him. And nobody was telling them.
The wide leg paying that.
Yeah, they were letting them drag the floor and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, man, you can't wear that shit like that. So I would tell him. And so I would give him, clothes. I would give him like an outfit, and he would switch. I said, no, put that shit back together. Like, they would always maneuver the shit. Like,
okay,
he would switch the top to a different bottom. I said, no, nigga, this like,
go with that.
So we became,
it developed a mutual respect, and the critical thing was it was still all through the fashion thing. So he had an opportunity to respect your fashion sense, and that visual, like, and then the abilities to just be like, man, I'm not a yes man, man. I hear what you're saying, but we ain't gonna do the yes man.
That was the main thing. Me and him always got on, like, I ain't like them dudes. Like, I say, man, I'm from DC. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
if it's green, it's green, man. I'm not gonna say the joint is turquoise blue. This shit.
You gotta remember, this is the time he was signing Ricky Williams.
Yeah.
All them dudes from Kentucky. He had all them, like, Mia X was just leaving because her mother had just passed, and a lot of stuff was going on them. They was hot, and they was very hot.
Yeah.
Mystical was trying to leave, and Cash Money was coming on the scene.
Right.
So it was a lot going on,
So you had an opportunity to really be a part of that entire, and to watch it manifest, and that's interesting because, again, someone outside from DC literally say, man, I like what you're doing, and I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is to ask for your assistance in this piece. So I ain't just giving it to you. We working together. This is like a partnership.
Yeah.
So how did that build into, there was a campaign with the NBA that We Are One did. You did a campaign with them as well, right? Some type of partnership with them.
Yeah.
If you could talk a little bit about that and the trademarking of the name We Are One, because there are a lot of urban apparel sites, but they didn't trademark themselves, and so people were able to just.
Well, let me talk about the trademark first. Trademark, because that's most important. The
Yeah.
trademark. If you got something a logo that you believe in, this is what you want to do. trademark it.
Yeah.
Now, you got to get an attorney. Now, you can't go get a flip-flam attorney. You're going to pay an attorney. The trademark going to cost you anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 to trademark your logo.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, it's not no. Well, I go do it myself for $1,500. all that bullshit. You don't know the trademark.
Right.
You got to trademark everything you want to do.
Yes.
You want to trademark a hat, a
Yeah.
shirt, a T-shirt,
Yep.
a hoodie, a vest,
Yeah.
a leather vest, a sock, everything.
Everything that you want to
So
trade. That's right.
you got to trade that. It has to be a trademark.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So you can't. Let's talk about. Let's get that understood first. It's gonna cost you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make some money from it, so it's gonna cost you.
Right.
Ain't nothing you're gonna make money from it. Ain't not gonna cost you.
Right.
So now you get your trademark and you find out you get an attorney and let the attorney tell you what you're doing. Don't let nobody from the street tell you what you're doing.
Yeah.
You get a trademark attorney. Now the other question was.
Wait, no, you stay even with just the trademark piece right there, because that's important. And it's not just I got my own company. And wait a minute, well, do you have an S corporation? Are you LLC? What else do you have about your company? It's just not you creating a name and putting it on a daggone T-shirt and saying I'm gonna sell these for $20, $30 and build up my people, and then okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So take the people through that process.
So it's a long process. So when you trademark, the first thing you do, I got an idea. I want to trademark it. So that's the first idea. And then I got a general idea. I need to do something with it. I need to use everything. You got to get
So you basically trademarking it to protect your intellectual property, so that nobody else can just come in.
You
and
trademarking it, but let me explain. Like you gotta spend money on what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say I'm going out here and do this and then everybody doing this, I'm gonna do that. Because if you got like if you got say you got We Are One,
Mm-hmm.
you can't and somebody say, well, I want to go ahead and open up a Cadillac dealership called We Are One.
Right.
There's nothing I can do.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Unless they start trying to make shirts.
Right.
Clothing.
Right.
So I'm trademarking the clothing. So you trademarking everything.
That you
Yeah,
sell.
whatever you do. You can trademark that wall. I want the white put We Are One on that wall.
Right. Okay.
That's a trademark.
Okay.
Mechanical trademarks. They mechanical trademarks. Like Mercedes-Benz, when they first came out with the keyless entry.
Right.
It was trademarked.
Okay.
Only for the first 3 years.
Mm.
And then everybody can copy it.
Right.
And after the first 6 years, anybody can copy it. So that's why you
Right.
see every rental car, anything got to push to start. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's the
That's those some pearls. That's wisdom.
Right,
You know,
right.
that's great.
You know what I'm saying? Them mechanical patents, they only last for so long until technology, to get onto them.
Right.
But in clothing, if I'm trademarking this sweatshirt, it's forever until I let it go.
Right. Yeah, because we did that as well. We
then-
trademarked the Men's Corner podcast. We trademarked to sell our T-shirts
Pearl.
with Men's Corner Pearl and all that type of stuff.
But
And
Men's
the
Corner, you can copyright it and then you can trademark the
Right.
gear and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then remember, once you trademark something and become a trademark, then it's a registered trademark.
Mm-hmm.
So before the TM become the R.
Oh, right. So it's registered. So the other question, I know Six got something for it, but the other question that I was talking about was, that led into the trademark piece, was that campaign partnership that you had with the NBA. Yeah.
So let me say that. So what happened with the campaign? Now, it started before the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It started back at Houston when I was in Houston. My warehouse, when we started, based on we all went out of Houston. I mean, in 1999, our warehouse was in Houston. So we based everything out of there. So a lot of players was getting drafted. Nick Van Exel, once he went to Denver, Kiki Vandeweghe was the general manager.
Right.
Kiki Vandeweghe liked the stuff that Nick was wearing and stuff like that. Him and I was getting Antonio McDyess and Kiki Vandeweghe, Chauncey Billup, all them was in James Posey. They were all in Denver. So I was giving them gear. Kiki Vandeweghe was like that. I said, we give him some gear. So then Kiki Vandeweghe came. Tommy Shep was assistant GM. No, Tommy Shep was the player personnel rep.
Okay.
That's the GM of the Wizards now.
Right.
Him and Kiki came to me and said, hey, man, can we sell some stuff in here? I said, yeah. So I started selling We Are One. The first time I started selling when We Are One in the NBA was in Denver Nuggets, in Denver. So I started selling it in Denver through Tommy Shepard, that's the GM of the Wizards now, and Kiki Vandeweghe, who's the assistant of the president of the NBA. I mean, you know.
Oh, the Nationals, Stern?
No, that's Stern. Who the new, you know.
The new dude.
Adam Silver?
Yeah,
Adam Silver. Yeah.
So Kiki is his assistant.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So during the pandemic, I mean not the pandemic, I'm sorry. During the Donald Sterling WitchCon,
Right.
the Clippers playing that game.
Yeah, I remember that.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, you know, Sam with the Clippers and all that. So Doc Rivers, the whole story came out at halftime. Doc Rivers in there. So Doc Rivers going on the board. He don't know what's going on. He just like, they got to play.
Right.
And it's coming out. So he wrote, We Are One on the bulletin board.
Ooh.
So when it come out, then their people called Kiki and said they want to use We Are One. Kiki said, hold up, we got to call Kenny because this is his trademark. They called me and said, we want to work out a deal with you to use We Are One during the playoff, but all the playoff teams coming up
Right.
are coming up.
Right. And that was when Donald Sterling came out with and said
Right.
there was some racial tensions going
With
on.
the magic
and
and all
things
that
like
shit. Yeah,
Right.
that's when the We Are One
Okay.
stuff came
Right.
out. That's when the first We Are One stuff came out.
Okay.
From
And that's
Donald
their
Sterling.
campaign. Man,
So-
powerful.
So he called me and said, I said, well, what you want to work out? What kind of deal you want to work out? He said, I'm going to get back to you. I want to do it quick. So I said, next day he got back to me and said, look, we want to do this. Here's the amount we want to pay you. And we want to use We Are One through all the playoff teams through the NBA. We want to sell it on the website and all that stuff. We want to do a whole thing and say, the NBA is affiliated with We Are One in Washington, D.C. So you go on the website and look it up and say We Are One and affiliated with Washington, D.C. and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to make sure they knew this We Are One was from here.
It's from here, right. That
Right.
it wasn't the NBA in the executive office type of ideology.
Adidas had to sign off on it because Adidas was signing, doing the church at the time.
Right.
So they had to sign off on it too. Because they did it, printed it without, print my trademark without me trademark, I sued them too.
Right.
So they had to sign off on it too. So that's how it came about. And then, I think 2 years later, Mark Cuban called me and said he want to use it too for the playoff.
Dang.
So we use it a lot. We all want a lot. Mark Cuban used it because we had a player playing with them at the time. And then, like now, we got BYU.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Brigham
So-
Young University is
yeah.
actually using it as well.
Right, so they'll call you to people know. Like, after we sued the Gap, people know to call you.
Right. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about this suing the Gap, please. So, yeah, hey man, I told y'all some info.
Yeah.
So you you had to sue the Gap because they used your name without consulting you.
Correct. The Gap used doing Gay Pride months. I think the Gay Pride months is like May, June, July, something like that. And so they do it every year. Well, they sponsor Gay Pride Month, whatever, but they use the We Are One with the Gay Pride colors. So I was like, damn. So
So you actually sew it yourself? No.
I actually think
Or did you get a call from somebody saying, "Hey, they got Wheel One for Gay Pride"?
No, I got a buddy of mine, Teddy. DC police officer. He used to work from back at the athlete foot. So he called me and said, "Man, I see the Gap with the with the stuff on." So I was like, "Damn." So I took a look at it, and I said, damn, where the gap is right next to my lawyer building. So I had my lawyer taking a on 17th Street. You know, Kim, well, Kim worked for the lawyer.
Yeah, okay.
So, you know, Kim worked for the lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, damn. I'm like, hey, you know, Chris, and see what's going on. And shit. Like, so initially, I wasn't trying to sue the Gap. I was trying to partnership with them.
Right. Since you all did it,
I was like, hey, you got my stuff. You know, let's, you know, can we do something together? And they was like, no, we don't feel like we infringing on your trademark. My lawyer was shocked at that moment. He was like, no more
interaction with them. Don't talk. Right. Yeah.
So, and that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, so you know, the Gap got a lot of money. They're $1 billion company.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So we went on to litigation for over almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. So my lawyer started saying, let's send them some pictures of all the NBA players who, you know, were in the NBA and all that, the NBA contract that did with the NBA. So we sent them the NBA contract. LeBron James that came with the hat on and the socks on the shirt. Okay. So we started sending them that joint, and Al Mean was wearing it.
Yeah.
So they came back and say, we like to settle.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And again, it all starts, and for our listening audience, it actually all starts from being trademarked and really solidifying your business, your concepts, your ideology, and protecting your intellectual property if you have an idea out there. This isn't just in the back of the alley getting a T-shirt and having somebody write some words on it or embroidery, or you know, what they call it when you just put it on there?
Ink print.
Yeah, the ink prints and all that stuff without going the business route, because you could be sued and not even know that someone has already trademarked that particular issue or that name or whatever it is that you got. You don't know until you have someone else, like I said, an attorney, go through and look at that. And we got an in-house attorney too, so you know.
Yeah, like why you say that, because a lot of people put Gore-Tex on the or they make little stuff in DC. They make little nylon. They put Gore-Tex. Gore-Tex is a company.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, you can't just keep putting a name on your stuff.
No.
Gore-Tex is a company. It's a waterproof, fireproof company.
Right.
You got to spend a lot of money to mess with Gore-Tex.
Yeah.
So when people be putting Gore-Tex, you know, actually you look it up, they're going to have a registered trademark beside their name. So stop putting Gore-Tex when your stuff is waterproof or rainproof. They call it, you know, wind resistant, rain resistant, and waterproof. When it's Gore-Tex, it's Gore-Tex. That's like the fireman stuff like that. They go into them fires and stuff like that, 3M and stuff like that.
Okay.
So.
Well, we're going to take a pause for the calls, and then we're going to come right back to you in 60 seconds. We're talking to the one and only Kenny Westray, CEO and trademark owner of We Are One. Don't go in there playing them games and things of that nature with the name, because he will probably give you one call and say, hey, champ, you want a partnership? And if you can't afford it, you're going to go, he going to see you another kind of way. But we'll be right back with you in 60 seconds or so, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit about just life and listen to some more of this wisdom from Kenny Westray of We Are One.
dive back in it, man. He trying to downplay. He one of the pioneers. I ain't gonna let him. Shit, he's a big brother out here. I done seen him before the Hobo, what was DTLR, and motherfucker, I'm so DC. I can name a bunch of people he done put that we didn't follow in his footsteps. So I ain't letting you slide with that. You're not the pioneer. You tripping. you talking about almost 30 years in the game. That's a pioneer, champ.
Yeah.
It's hard to move like that around here. But I'm going to dive into your community stuff because we could talk about the business all night long like Lionel Richie, but you do so much in the community, like with other brands, with the kids, with the stuff at the school. Let's speak on that piece a little bit.
Well, most of the stuff, I mean, the biggest stuff I think I do in the community is probably with every year where I grew up at on 5th and O Street, Bundy Day.
Okay.
That's probably that's the most passionate thing I think that I do it all because that's where it started at.
Right.
I mean, I started from Bundy, at Bundy Field when I had to go over there and open my trunk and sell stuff and in the community because if the community don't accept your stuff, you done. You done. You just done.
Right.
So that was the biggest thing. And then, after Bundy, a lot of things came, like different community call them, like the Bengals football team and Dunbar football team and
Yes, sir.
sport. But I didn't say football team, I just say sports. Period.
Right.
So whatever, came across my path, if I could tackle it, I did it. Some I did, like, with no accolades, I was like, hey, man, a couple of dollars for this, So, do you.
Right.
But
They used to have some awesome softball games around there, man. at that field around there, man. Incredibly competitive and all of that around there.
well, because you've been around there a lot,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So Bundy, if it wasn't for that, I probably don't know. I probably wouldn't have made it because he could tell you, man, how loaded that used to be on Friday and
Yeah.
Saturday night,
Yeah.
man. That like
Yeah.
you want to go buy your living room furniture, you might go around there.
That's real talk. You can get it. Yeah, it was always a farmer's market out that joint there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I want to, make an instance because I'm sitting there talking to, Poncho. Now I've been knowing a long time, and I had a lot of, many discussions with him. Personal when I was going through it.
Right.
So I mean, I don't want he know.
Yeah.
So if anybody know me, from coming to my home and like moving
deodorants. The man ADHD. No. OCC.
No, OCD.
That man OCD. That man obsessive compulsive disorder out the gazoo. We used to go to this man's house, man, because he had all of the stuff that he got from Bundy on Farmer's Market Day. He had all the lotions and deodorants, and they was all super neat. And man, me and Puffy, man, used to go to that joint, man. He go somewhere, go to the bathroom. Man, we done grabbed about 3 of them and 2 of them. But look, he was so sharp. He would come in and joint and he was like, hey, just before we get ready to leave out there, he like, hey, I'm missing like 5 deodorants, man, and 3 lotions. We like, this dude right here, incredible, man. We got, y'all go ahead and take that, though. Don't worry about it. This dude retarded, man.
Yeah.
But on some real, before you go any further, because we would be remiss, man, the Men's Corner, if we did not pay homage to your dad and your mom.
Oh yeah, without question.
Because Kenny, for our viewing audience, just recently lost his mom and dad back to back, 1 month exact date apart from each other. And for those of us that have our parents around, and we have the ability to love on them, especially during this time of the year, man, it's got to be a really tough piece for you. So one of the things I would like to ask, and I'm sure Six would like to ask you, but what are your greatest memories of mom and dad, man, and what role did they play in your continued success in the urban apparel industry?
I think I had a memory on Facebook just 2 days ago. So my mom and father, they I was like their Jordan.
Yeah.
I was like their Jordan. They, when I made it with Master P, they ain't know who it was, but my father started looking it up. My mother ain't looking at my father started looking it up and all that kind of stuff. And then they was like, oh man, this, and then when I started buying them stuff and, a house and stuff like that, they was like, oh man, what you, I said, nah, this yours. Just pick the house out. All that kind of stuff. Like, that was the biggest thing, because my first money was spent on my mother and father. It was the house.
Yes,
it was like I told my sister at the time, Sheila, I was like, just find a house. I don't care what house. Just find a house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she didn't find the biggest house at the time. She just found a house, but it was their house.
For mom and dad.
Yeah,
right.
It was their house. So, and that was my biggest thing. My father, my father was always, he a sports fanatic. He Redskins and all that kind of stuff, but he was a sports fanatic. So I would take a lot of my shoes I would get from athletes, man, like Sean Kemp, especially Sam. I'm gonna say Sam a lot. Sam Cassell, Sean Kemp, Yao Ming and Grant Hill, everybody.
Yeah.
I've had Catino Mobley.
Yeah.
I've had shoes all over the place. So I would take them to my mother's house to keep them in storage. And my father would go put them on.
What size shoe down with, man?
It was like a 13.
Yeah,
So
13.
Sam, he wore more Sam shoes than everybody else.
Everybody else do 15.
And Sam and Catino Mobley, he wore back of their shoes and shit.
Oh, man.
I was like, man, I said, man, Dad, them autograph shoes, what you doing?
He got them joints on going through the giant line and everything, man.
I ain't see it. They feel good.
But that's something. And for real, man, the craziest shout out to Sam Cassell, man, because those of us that know also, Sam has always, even since he's come up, Sam has always been, if you didn't know no better, for real, you think Sam was born and raised in D.C., the kind of love that he give a lot of the fellas here, man. And vice versa, not just Sam, but a lot of the brothers, man, because real recognize real across America. And so the love that he was able to show you, and he still continuously show, because he often come back to the shop, And when he comes to the shop, again, we're not going past mom and dad, because we want to, But before I get there, I'm going to offer you this. Because I do this a lot. My mother and father know that I do it with no problem. I tell people, man, that's lost a mom and a dad, if you close to me, my mom and dad, fortunately for me, still here. So I give you that number. And if ever you just need to hear a mother or a father's voice that you think would be akin to your mom or dad's voice, I can give you that number. And all you got to do is just call and say, hey, Pancho told me to give you a call. My mom or dad ain't here. I just wanted to talk. And they there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we have to do for each other around here when we start losing loved ones, and especially our mothers and fathers. We got to open up our hearts and our homes for our mothers and fathers to the people that we love.
Yeah, call them. Even when you don't hear them out,
just pick that phone up.
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
I luckily got the opportunity to talk to my mother the day before she passed, and she was happy. She didn't know. She had no symptoms or nothing. So I talked to her like Sunday.
Right.
And my last word was like, all right, Mom, football game gonna come on. And her last word to me, well, you better take that flu shot.
Wow.
That flu shot don't care if you vegan and all that kind of stuff. Well, I don't take it. Boy, that flu shot don't care if you vegan. You better take that flu shot. So we laughed and all that kind of stuff, and and my father just at the funeral he got sick at the funeral. So after the funeral, I was like, he looked sick, and I was like, man, you want me take him to, you know, man, my brother took him to the hospital, you know, like we got him something to eat first, and took him to the hospital, and I was like, and I kept telling my brother, like, man, my brother knew. I said, man, he done.
How many years were they together?
62.
62
Married.
years.
Married,
Married
62.
62 years.
So,
Good God Almighty, man. Married long as most of us been around. And that
I was, you know, people like, I was kind of, you kind of glad, cause I didn't know what I was gonna do with my father. Like
Right.
the pandemic, like I can't go see him. What the fuck I'm gonna do? You know, So I know they together, and I'm happy. It was like it was meant to be. It was like September 24th, October 24th. So people call me and say, you check me. I'm good. I'm here.
Yeah. Right.
I believe there's no God but Allah. Prophet Muhammad, his messages. So I believe. I don't have that worry, and people like I don't have it.
And this script was already ordained. It was already written as something.
I'm the seal.
Yes.
I'm the seal of my mother. I'm the last one. So I'm what more? I'm 54 years old.
Yeah.
What more can I do for them? They got everything. They lived their life.
Yeah. That's major, man.
So I don't have none of that stuff. I don't. Everybody check. You don't have to check on me. I'm checked on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's powerful right there. That's powerful words, man. I think we tend to don't allow people to grieve in their own way. We force it on them, and a lot of people, we so cliche. We just talk about be strong, or we say, hey,
let me know if you need anything.
Let me know if you need anything. And those are the wrong things to say to folks
sometimes,
because they're like, I don't know when I'm gonna need you. Stop saying that.
Right.
Right.
Six say that all the time, man. Well, okay, if you ask me, you say, let me know if you need anything. I say, yeah, man, I need like $4,000-$5,000, man, to help pay for this.
Are you gonna come through?
What you gonna do? So don't say, let me know if you need anything. Just sometimes ain't no words. And I think that's what I say. Man, look, ain't no words, man. But I'm a listening ear.
It depends on who that's coming from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think our pastor, Tony Lee. I don't know, you know Tony Lee?
Great dude. Yes, indeed.
So
Great dude.
He's in the hospital now. So, he be at the store. He actually opened the store a lot of time. He run the store name there sometimes. So. He just went through it like all of a sudden. Like I see him you Friday, and then they come Sunday. You in the hospital.
Yeah.
So, but it's one of the things I tell people, if you need me, I got you. So,
right.
But some people say that and you don't have yourself.
Right.
Stop saying
that.
Or at least say what you can do.
And stop hoping from people don't need you.
Oh, that's big.
That's major. You're really hoping people don't need you. You say they like, hope they don't need me.
Right.
I'm saying it because no, that's just like, man, just send your love and
and keep it going.
That's it.
So you got some other stuff going on in the store because you sell also products that are health conscious type stuff. Because we're talking about we talk about some of the community things that you're doing. You talking about Bundy. That's what we really left off. He's talking about the stuff you're doing with Bundy. What other initiatives you got going on? And we can get into some of the things that you're servicing from the store because you're a health fanatic. You do your best to eat appropriately and you actually service the community with some of the products in your store.
Yeah, well, we service the product through Rock.
Shout out to Rock.
Rock Solid Reboot.
Mm-hmm.
So Rock Hilton, that guy was like overweight and came up with his own, he studied it. It ain't just came out with his juice and stuff like people like, I'm gonna start mixing juices. He studied the craft. People like do that all the time.
Yeah,
like on the kitchen start mixing shit and shit. Oranges, apples, and bananas and shit. And then they get a blender and
and they throw some ginger in that joint is ready, huh?
Yeah, so
oh man.
Rock Hilton, he studied this stuff. So Rock Solid Reboot, you wanna rocksolidreboot.com, you go to that joint, and we got all organic drinks. They made fresh daily, every day. Organic none of that stuff from the Safeway or the Giant is organic.
Right.
You know, it ain't.
Okay.
And then we got in season fruit and vegetables and stuff. Whatever in season,
Right.
not out of season. Whatever in season,
Okay.
that's what you know. So some people's like, man, where the watermelon at? Well, watermelon ain't in give you a watermelon juice because this ain't 7-Eleven.
Right.
And expiration date give you like from 2024.
Right.
How can the organic? You
Last that
grew
long.
up. You had an apple. It ain't last on your counter for but 2 days before it turns yellow and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So remember that's fruit.
Right.
So when you go in there and say the expiration date is 2 weeks, like how can a fruit last a banana ain't gonna never last 3 days on your counter without turning brown. So we got organic, we get it now, and
And that's like one of the hardest things for people to change in terms of their diet. One of the major reasons is because when you start talking about fruit and vegetables can be expensive to many people. So they'll go to the alternative because the fruit and vegetables, when you start talking about $6.99 a pound for this, it's like, hey man, I ain't get but like 2 of them jokes, and that came up to a whole pound and a half.
Yeah, that's correct. But that's why they came out with oodles and noodles. Because when they knew the black people,
Hey man, stop man.
when they knew the black people were gonna like, wait, shit, get them some oodles and noodles, get 24 for $2.99 shit. Who the fuck gonna buy the other shit?
Right.
We got $2.99 oodles and noodles. We got 24 packs of this shit. It's a nickel a pack.
Right.
Add some water to it, and then who in the hood? Who gonna debate that?
And you put some boiled eggs in that joint and some soy sauce and chop that
Y'all
joint
make
up.
a jail joint
And you,
now.
and you ready to rock.
Yeah, but who gonna debate that? Like
Right.
I'm saying, so that's the whole mentality of food industry.
Right.
Give it to us,
Right.
Right.
black and Hispanic, because they don't want to buy the shit.
Right.
But I want to pay for my health.
Yeah.
I want to go to mom's. I want to buy the best of the best
Right.
and support my system.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
When you look in our hood, you looking like, look, we overweight. We a mess.
Yes, sir.
And we constantly keep eating a mess, and they keep feeding us a mess,
Mm-hmm.
and but we don't care. We just keep eating sodas and all that kind of stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
I grew up in Rock Creek. I don't drink it no more.
Right.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
So
They say if you knew better, you do better, but our people won't.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like
And the brain food. When you start talking about the brain food and everybody talking about, well, diabetes here and cholesterol high and all these things, well, it has a lot to do with your diet. And your body will talk to you. The question that begs itself is, are you listening to it or are you just hearing
and
it?
how often you eating it? You eating it?
Yeah.
You eating. You can't just constantly eat. I mean, it's cool to eat it, but not overeat it.
So let me ask you this. Well, Six, go ahead, because I know you had it.
But
I apologize.
I wanted to touch on the fact that this man is so humble.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to start out with that. Like it's never a brash. I watch him and Tony Awaz a lot with what they do in the community, and you never, not one time, seen neither one of them get an accolade, an award, or anything for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just genuinely given to the people that he know that needs it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he don't like talk about where's it going or anything like that. If you say need it, he's there.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that. Like I know people probably going to the store, let me get it for this, like they down Georgetown, some motherfucker, or whatever, don't understand what he pours into people.
Mm-hmm.
Like pay what it costs.
Yeah.
Because again, you're trying to reap the benefit of a discount, but you don't understand how much this man puts out.
Right.
You dig?
Yeah. So like, shout out to Tony Awaz, because that's my man. That's my dumb alumni.
Awaz and Associates, baby.
And trust me, he probably do way more than I do. I'm telling the community, but that's my brother. I love him, and again, he's my dumb alumni. But man, when what a lot of people don't know in the clothing industry, they look at we are one. Bam, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
But first, they don't know how to get there.
Right.
You know, how does shirt make that color? How you get that shirt that color?
Mm-hmm.
How you get them this color? How you get them like that hat? How you do this shit?
Right.
How you pivot?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm old school.
Yes, sir.
It took me a long time to pivot. I had to pivot. For me to pivot, I had to change my way of life. So I said, I gotta get like them young dudes. I gotta change my weight and everything else to get like them dudes to pivot because I'm in the store.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? A lot of people always see you, well, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So you gotta pivot. If I didn't pivot this pandemic, I would have been lost. I had to pivot.
Yeah.
When nothing happened, when everything was closed down, I went and asked my staff, say, can you guys make masks?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Can we do, and we worked on it. It took about 3 fucking weeks for us to work on it. Oh, this ain't right. This shit ain't right.
Right.
People don't know that shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They
They don't
just see
see
the
it.
final product and
They
think,
never see it.
yeah.
Right.
How many times, like, what the fuck? Like, how many times you beat your hand on the table, like, this ain't right.
Right.
So once we got it right, shit just came and then they was ordering wholesale from you, ordering wholesale. So you pivoted your shit. And then I was telling Mike and stuff like, damn, we open less hours. We only got less than 4 hours. Get the fuck out of here. We was overwhelmed with work.
Right.
Because everybody was bringing me shit. I had Clorox. You know, you
Yeah.
got to pivot.
Yeah.
in your,
Sure.
in your,
I like that. I like that thing. You have to learn the art of pivoting.
if you don't pivot in anything you do, because time changes, like football, basketball, baseball, whatever. When basketball, big man is 7 figures shooting 3-pointer, you got to pivot.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to 3-pointer motherfucker to shoot 7-pointer.
Right. Yeah.
Or I'm not going to be a coach.
Right. Right.
I'm going to be
yeah.
5.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just seen a lot of NBA and basketball
So-
in your time.
Yes, you
Yeah,
have.
that's one of the things I did at that time.
But you know, it was interesting because I always tell people that at the age of 25, and we're a couple of years apart from each other, and I tell people at the age of 25, I made a 50-year-old man decision to change my life and do something different, to pivot in my life so that I wouldn't be a 50-year-old man making 25-year-old boyish decisions. So we got to pivot, but that all comes from being able to do it. And then you kind of have to be patient with your pivot and then be disciplined with that patience. There's a lot of people don't know how to be disciplined and patient, that it's going to come. You just got to slow walk it. You know, even in the apparel industry. The times change. Once upon a time, we were wearing, us little dudes were wearing, man, give me a 2X. And we know damn well we ain't fit no 2X, but we didn't want nothing couture. Now today, man, they wearing the mediums, and I'm like, dog, that thing like right there, like skinny tight sweatpants on you. But the times have changed. You know what I'm saying? So what advice would you give anybody that's out there now trying to come into the urban apparel arena, to get into the fashion apparel industry? What is some of the advice that you would give them that's trying to get into it?
Well, a lot of advice. I mean, don't come in and thinking it's going to be a quick come up, because it ain't. You're gonna have your ups and downs with this. So you just stay the course.
Right.
If you can stay the course and you believe in what you believe in, then you good.
Yeah.
But if you come in here thinking that I got a good idea, and quick hitter, you're gonna be done. You got to stay the course. I stayed the course. A lot of times things weren't right. Things went wrong. People don't know from 2008 we had 8 stores. So when across, like, from Houston to Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Maryland, Baltimore, DC, we had 8 stores. So we made a lot of money. But when the economy crashed in 2008, when Obama came in, we had to start closing all them stores. So it took a while to, like how you pivot. You know what I'm saying? You got to close all them stores. You got to all that stuff you gotta, in Houston we had a mall, so we had to sell it. So in different places, you gotta, clothes store is your lease clothes and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So.
And that's good, man. What a lot of people don't understand is, and something that I would really like our listeners to understand is, both of these gentlemen here have been in the entrepreneurial realm of finances for quite some time. You with the wheel one thing, and Six was doing the silk screening piece. He does now currently jump and things of that nature where he help out with a lot of the youngins and getting them, all their essentials and toiletries and doing a lot of give backs and book bags and all that stuff. And you guys are doing that stuff now, man. And even in the midst of a pandemic, you all still trying to find ways to give back instead of just receiving, man. And to that, I applaud you, man. And I applaud Six, and we talk all the time about it. But I applaud you all because it takes a lot to stay in the fight, man. An awful lot to stay in the fight when all the forces coming against you. Back in the day, in our other lives, we used to talk about when a certain political group when a certain political group runs the country, man, everybody pockets be like the measles, mumps, and chicken pox. Then another political group come in, and man, they just stick a pin in your pockets, and everybody like, good God Almighty, what happened? There's a dry up. Everybody dried up. Everybody got to pivot and make changes. Fortunately, we made changes at early ages, in our 20s, for those that's listening, to do something different, man, so that we wouldn't be, again, 50 years old making same boyish-like decisions. Man, I applaud you, man.
We made it, I'm going to say 30, because I made some of that shit at 20-something. You know that shit.
Yeah, real talk.
I ain't going shit.
Real talk. And
I remember sitting talking to Poncho, going through a life, changing experience. Like one day on Bundy, I don't know if you remember, like a Bundy Field, man, you sitting there talking, and I kept on like trying to express what was going on with me at that time.
Yeah.
And and lucky he, this guy was a believing Allah, was like something like, man, this is like, hey, this is what you did, and this was, and ain't tell me what I wanted to hear. So, so I remember all that stuff, and trust me, I take it in, and a lot of people tell me, told me something they think on him, and I was like, yeah, I remember, because if I went through it and if I can remember, that means God put that in my head to remember. So, I'm here blessed. I'm blessed, man. I've been pronounced dead twice, man. Stabbed up.
I remember Dirk and I came up that hospital to see you laying in that hospital bed, man, after you got stabbed. And, back then, again, we young, and one of the first days I looked at you and say, who did it, man? What's up? Let's go. And you was like, nah. I said, ain't no nah, man. You dying.
Yeah.
But again, that was the maturation process of young men or young boys becoming men and growing and pivoting, man. So, hey, you get I guess, Six can get his last word and you get yours, man. And
we're going to let Kenny close it out, man, because, man, I appreciate the jewels that he dropped tonight, man. I remember the no limit thing, but when he turned the switch on about it, man, it just
that's different.
It was able to teach a lot of people a lot of things, man. And I'm going to let you close us out, man.
No, I can't close out. But you say on no limit thing, but from that, with Master P, the guy's real. All I can tell the person is when you confront a person that you're trying to be like, a lot of people time in DC, we confront people that's our proteges or just hey, this who I want to be. Mm-hmm. But when you see them, you won't say nothing.
Mm.
So then you get crazy. So me, every time I see somebody, I like, I approach them. Like when it's time when I met say Penny Holloway, I just approached them, man. Hey, man, what's up? I got some gear. Like, let me see the gear. you know, they say no, but just approach who you want to be and speak your mind and you know, just be yourself and all the rest of stuff will just come, you know, for fruition. So,
Alhamdulillah, man. Shout out again, man, to Master P.
And this is another piece though. What we missed though, this man started dressing athletes before Nike and Adidas.
Yes, yeah. On the real. Go ahead, we got a minute and a half to get that one in.
That's crazy because I was dressing a lot of Nike athletes. You know, and put them in magazines and stuff like that.
Right.
And Nike actually sent me a letter telling me to cease and desist. And I was so happy with the letter. I said, "Oh shit, Phil Nike sending me a letter," because Cat, you know, Katina Mobley at the time, he was under Nike and all that kind of stuff. They was wearing stuff and then I had Reebok, you know, I had Yao Ming wearing stuff, I had Steve Francis wearing stuff.
Yes, sir.
It was crazy. They was going crazy sending me letters like, man, cease and desist and stuff. I was like, they wearing my stuff. They pay for it.
But that's when you know you made it, when the majors, when the Fortune 500 companies come and say, hey,
well,
man.
we had to go to Boston for a meeting with Reebok.
Wow.
Because Steve was wearing too much We All Want stuff.
That's crazy, man. Hey, man, again,
up,
ladies
man?
and gentlemen, thank you so much. You just listened to unadulterated, untamed, interesting dialogue from the one and only Kenny Westray of We Are One. Claudius, you can check him out. What's your address? Where the store at now, Kenny?
4931 Suitland Road.
4931 Suitland Road. Open how many days a week?
We open 7 days a week. We open Christmas.
7 days a week. You open on
that's
Christmas.
right.
And you can go and get the nice sweatsuit of pearls, t-shirts, masks. You can get your great supplemental drinks and things, all organic drinks from my main man Rock Hilton up in there. Hey, we're going to support each other and we're going to push an agenda. Our agenda that we've been pushing here lately is every day do the very best you can to go and spend with a black-owned company. Get out of your emotions, get out of your feelings about, man, they don't treat me right there, customer service. Nobody cares about that. Go in there and take your dollars in there enough, the customer service become real good to you.
Yeah.
And don't look for no damn discount.
No, we're not doing the discounts. We're going in there and
get
pay
up
the
there and
people
shoot
what
this
they
man a commercial so he can push that thing. He open on Christmas.
Open on Christmas, baby. Thank you again, Westray. Appreciate you,
Yes, sir, man. Thanks a lot.
Yes,
We
indeed.
open every day, man. I don't think we've been closed. We closed. I open Christmas just to get away from the house for a minute.
Yeah, and get away from the dogs. When it snow outside, the dogs control
Well, I might
everything.
put the open sign on, but I might just go up there for 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
Man, thank you all again for
Appreciate
coming
you,
on
Kenny.
through. We appreciate you all. We love you.
sir.
Again, tune in to the Men's Corner Facebook, IG, and the Men's Corner YouTube, DMV. Love to see you. Until next time, go in peace, y'all.